Disregarding informal diplomatic Indian protests about a Chinese spy ship docking in Hambantota, Sri Lanka authorities permitted its visit to the port. Colombo owed $1.4 billion to a Chinese company to build this port. Not being able to pay them, Colombo leased it to Beijing for $1.12 billion, less than what they owed. China describes Yuan Wang 5 as a research and survey vessel, but Indian officials say it is a dual-use spy ship. The Yuan Wang 5, they say, could track space and satellites and monitor intercontinental ballistic missile launches. Another fear is that the vessel could map the ocean floor, data that becomes useful for submarines. On July 12, a day before he fled his country in disgrace, former Sri Lanka President Gotabaya Rajapaksa had granted permission for the ship's visit to Hambantota. Earlier, his brother Mahinda, who had borrowed heavily from China between 2005 and 2015, fled the country. Mahinda was the prime minister then and earlier the president. In an apparent power-sharing agreement with the brother, he became the prime minister because the Sri Lanka constitution sets term limits to the post of president. Responding to New Delhi's protest, Sri Lanka authorities told China not to send the ship for now, but changed its mind to allow the boat to dock. Even as this controversy exploded, Sri Lanka announced that it had received a gift of Dornier 228 patrol aircraft from India for use in maritime surveillance. While the aircraft gift was a deal in 2018, New Delhi had provided over $4.5 billion in emergency aid, sending food, oil, and sustenance supplies to help the people of Sri Lanka. In sharp contrast, Beijing has provided a grant of $50 million. In a severe case of mismanagement, the Rajapaksa brothers bankrupted the country with a series of terrible policies. Sri Lanka's economy, which relies heavily on tourism, suffered from the COVID pandemic, seeing significant tourist cancellations. Adding fuel to the fire, Gotabaya Rajapaksa banned all inorganic fertilizer imports and killed the entire agriculture industry. The combination generated a catastrophic foreign exchange crisis, making the nation unable to pay for critical imports and service its debt. Thus Sri Lanka was declared a bankrupt nation. Violent protests saw the population attacking Mahinda and Gotabaya, forcing them to flee. There are mixed reports on how Colombo descended into a debt crisis. India's External Affairs Minister, S. Jaishankar, said bilateral relations with China cannot be normal.
Despite 16 rounds of commander-level talks between us on the Chinese disengagement along the LAC in eastern Ladakh, the issue remains unresolved. The Indian Army has been holding its ground for the past 2 winters, which shows our resolve on standing our ground. We have made some substantial progress in terms of the troops pulling back from places where they were very close. There are still some places where they have not. India has consistently maintained its position that if China disturb peace in the border areas, it will impact our bilateral relationship with them.
It is unclear what India will do. Would it stand up to China, as it did at Doklam in the Himalayan range, by surrounding the spy vessel and escorting it out of the Indian Ocean? Will it cease engagement with and support for Sri Lanka in its time of crisis? Only time will tell.
Author of the infamous book The Satanic Verses, Salman Rushdie was stabbed and punched several times as he was about to deliver a lecture in New York. A 24-year-old man, Hadi Matar, has been identified and is now in custody. Initial reports say that Matar was sympathetic to Shia extremism and supported the causes of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard. The 75-year-old Rushdie, who won a Booker Prize for another book, Midnight's Children, is not on the ventilator anymore and reportedly stable. When the Satanic Verses was released in September 1988, Muslims saw the book as lampooning Islam and its prophet, Muhammad, and hence considered it blasphemous. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, issued a religious diktat or fatwa on 14 February 1989, ordering Muslims to kill Rushdie. Since then, Rushdie, his translators, and publishers have been targets of Islamists worldwide. Extremists stabbed the book's Japanese translator to death, shot its Norwegian publisher, forcing him to spend months in hospital, and torched a hotel where the Turkish translator was staying, killing and injuring dozens of innocent residents. Rushdie was born in Mumbai, India, and that city saw a spate of violence as well.
If you like this content, please press the like button and share it with your family and friends. Please consider subscribing to this channel. It is free. Press the bell icon to receive notifications about new content.